Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, first published in 1865, is a classic work of children's literature that has captivated readers of all ages for generations. Written by English author Lewis Carroll, the pen name of Charles Lutwidge Dodgson, the novel blends fantasy, logic, wordplay, and satire to create a dreamlike journey through a world where reason is turned upside down. Though often read as a simple children's story, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is rich in deeper meanings, exploring themes of identity, growth, authority, language, and the nature of reality itself. The story begins on a warm summer day in the English countryside. Alice, a curious and imaginative young girl, sits beside her sister, who is reading a book without pictures or conversations. Bored and restless, Alice wonders what is the use of a book without illustrations. As she daydreams, she notices a white rabbit dressed in a waistcoat, anxiously checking a pocket watch and muttering that he is late. Intrigued by this strange sight, Alice follows the white rabbit down a rabbit hole. This moment marks her transition from the familiar, logical world into the strange and unpredictable realm of Wonderland. The fall seems endless, giving Alice time to observe shelves, cupboards, and maps along the walls of the tunnel. Her curiosity outweighs her fear, setting the tone for her adventures to come. Alice lands in a long hallway filled with locked doors of various sizes. On a small glass table, she finds a golden key that opens a tiny door leading to a beautiful garden. However, Alice is too large to fit through the door. This introduces one of the central motifs of the novel, changes in size. Alice discovers a bottle labeled "Drink Me," and, after cautiously tasting it, shrinks to a small size. Unfortunately, she has left the key on the table and cannot reach it. She then eats a cake marked "Eat Me," causing her to grow so large that her head hits the ceiling. Alice becomes overwhelmed and begins to cry, producing a pool of tears. These dramatic size changes reflect her confusion and frustration as she struggles to adapt to the strange rules of Wonderland. They also symbolize the emotional instability and identity confusion associated with childhood growth. Alice eventually shrinks again and finds herself swimming in her own pool of tears alongside various animals, including a mouse, a duck, a dodo, and a lorry. To dry themselves, the group participates in a caucus race, a nonsensical event in which everyone runs in circles without clear rules or a winner. At the end of the race, everyone is declared a winner, and Alice is expected to provide prizes. This episode satirizes political processes and social conventions, highlighting the absurdity of systems that lack logic yet demand participation. Alice attempts to make polite conversation but frequently offends the animals, particularly the mouse, by discussing cats and dogs, natural predators in the animal world of Wonderland. Alice encounters the white rabbit again, who mistakes her for his servant, Mary Ann. He orders her to retrieve his gloves and fan from his house. Inside, Alice drinks another mysterious potion and grows so large that she becomes trapped inside the rabbit's home, with her arms and legs sticking out of the windows. The rabbit and his companions try to force her out, eventually throwing pebbles that turn into cakes, which Alice eats to shrink again and escape. This episode emphasizes the recurring theme of mistaken identity. Alice is repeatedly seen not as herself, but as someone else, reinforcing her growing uncertainty about who she is. The lack of control over her body mirrors her lack of control over her environment. Alice then encounters a blue caterpillar sitting on a mushroom and smoking a hookah. The caterpillar questions Alice repeatedly, asking, "Who are you?" Alice struggles to answer, admitting that she is not sure anymore due to her constant size changes. The caterpillar offers cryptic advice and explains that different sides of the mushroom will make her grow or shrink. This scene is significant because it directly addresses the theme of identity. Alice begins to learn how to manage her transformations, symbolizing her gradual adaptation to the illogical world of Wonderland. Although the caterpillar's guidance is vague, it empowers Alice to gain some control over her situation. Using the mushroom, Alice adjusts her size and enters the chaotic household of the Duchess. Inside, the Duchess, her cook, and a baby exist in an atmosphere of constant violence and confusion. The cook throws objects and fills the air with pepper, causing everyone to sneeze. The Duchess treats the baby roughly, and when Alice takes the child away, it turns into a pig. Outside, Alice meets the Cheshire Cat, who can appear and disappear at will, often leaving only his grin behind. The Cheshire Cat offers cryptic guidance and philosophical observations, explaining that everyone in Wonderland is mad, including Alice herself. Unlike other characters, the Cheshire Cat speaks in riddles that contain a strange kind of logic, making him one of the few figures who seems aware of Wonderland's nature. The Mad Tea Party. One of the most iconic episodes of the novel is the Mad Tea Party, where Alice meets the Mad Hatter, the March Hare, and the Dormouse. The group is trapped in an endless tea time because time has stopped for them as punishment for the Hatter's misbehavior. As a result, they constantly move around the table to find clean cups. The conversation is filled with riddles that have no answers, illogical statements, and wordplay that frustrates Alice. She attempts to apply reason and manners, but finds that logic has no place at the table. Eventually, Alice leaves in anger, declaring the tea party the stupidest she has ever attended. This scene satirizes social rituals and intellectual pretensions, showing how empty and meaningless they can become when divorced from reason. Alice arrives at the royal garden, where she meets the Queen of Hearts, a volatile ruler who frequently orders executions by shouting, "Off with their heads!" The Queen invites Alice to play croquet, but the game is as chaotic as everything else in Wonderland. The mallets are live flamingos, the balls are hedgehogs, and the hoops are soldiers who move around the field. The Queen's arbitrary authority and violent temper parody tyrannical rulers and unjust systems of power. Alice, growing more confident, begins to challenge the Queen's threats, realizing that they are rarely carried out. Alice meets the Mock Turtle and the Griffin, who tell her about their strange education, which includes subjects such as reeling and writhing instead of reading and writing. They sing melancholy songs and speak nostalgically about their school days. Their absurd curriculum mocks traditional education systems and the tendency to romanticize the past. The story culminates in a courtroom trial where the Knave of Hearts is accused of stealing the Queen's tarts. The proceedings are utterly ridiculous, with nonsensical evidence and irrational logic. Alice grows larger during the trial, both physically and in confidence. She openly challenges the Queen, declaring that the court is nothing more than a pack of cards. At this moment, the illusion of Wonderland collapses. The cards fly into the air, and Alice wakes up from her dream, back in the real world. Alice's adventures in Wonderland ends with Alice recounting her dream to her sister, who reflects on the innocence and imagination of childhood. The novel ultimately celebrates curiosity, creativity, and the power of imagination, while also questioning rigid authority and conventional logic. Through Alice's journey, Lewis Carroll invites readers to view the world from a child's perspective, where rules are questioned and language is playful. The story suggests that growth involves confusion, self-discovery, and learning to navigate a world that often makes little sense. Alice's adventures in Wonderland endures because it captures the strange, humorous, and sometimes unsettling experience of growing up. What do you think of this book? Your support helps this channel grow. Please like the video, subscribe, and comment your favorite book so I know what to summarize next.